the man we all know and love, Kwame. And you are tuned into Street Lit Talk with the queen of Street Lit, Wahida Clark. Controversial topics, celebrity and influencer publishing, and of course, street lit books. Because after all, it's street lit, cause she's lit and she's the queen. So let's go, let the room fill up. Come on, let the room fill up. Now share the room, y'all. Let the room fill up. Come on, let the room fill up. Now share the room. And let's get it started for Street Lit Talk. Let's go.
Share the room, everybody. Share the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Share the room for Street Talk with Wahida Clark, Rich Sex with Anna Gristina, the soccer mom, madam. Her brand new book, Secret Desires of the 1%, drops today. And we are so honored. And I can't wait for you guys to meet Anna Gristina. So, Wahida, should we get started in like 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Sounds
All
good.
right, all right, all right. Give me a second here. I see the chat. People, hello everyone. Hey, Taniq, Taniqua Lanzi, Sherry, Chase, Hadia. Share, very good. This room, everybody, please share the room, people. Share the room. It tells us who shares the room. Chase, share the room, please. Taniqua, Anna Christina, Sherry, hit the share button and share the room. Just put something in the quotes. I mean, in the top. Share the room. Welcome. Share the room. 5 people have shared it so far. Appreciate it. I was trying to ping in friends, but that feature don't seem to be working for me. Clubhouse is pretty janky half the. I don't understand it. It says invite people, ping a friend into the room, but when you click them, nothing happens. So you can't tell whether you're hitting it or not, and it doesn't go away. So I'm kind of lost. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started because people are on time. Hold on 1 second. Okay, got you. Let's close this. Search friends. Okay. Now it won't let me get it. I'm trying. Okay, here it is. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Street Talk with Wahida Clark. And tonight's subject is rich sex with author Anna Gristina, also known as the Soccer Mom Madam. Her movie right now is on the Lifetime Network. So if you have not seen it, I encourage you to go watch it because it was enjoyable. It was something that you want to get going from start to finish. Yes, very good. Now, before I introduce Anna, and let you guys hear from her. I do want to go over her bio, and I do want to thank everyone that's here. Wahida, could you put her book cover in the chat so that everybody can see it and they can click on the link to go purchase the new book that just dropped today, Secret Desires of the 1% by Anna Gristina. Yay! Now Anna is and this is a replay, so it's going to be recorded. So people who are not here, they will be able to go back and hear it. And I do want to thank everyone that's hanging out with us tonight. Now Anna is a suburban mom who started a high-end escort service that raked in millions before she was caught. She was arrested in February 2012. After the heartbreak, she started to run the ring to support her children, which I have to ask about whoever put this bio together. It says, after the heartbreak. What heartbreak, Anna? Because then it says you started to run the ring to support the children. After what heartbreak?
Well, I was in a very abusive situation and it was not a healthy environment to raise children. And
Okay.
I found myself a single parent, and the options were, welfare because a 9 to 5 job wouldn't have afforded me the luxury to support 3 children.
Okay. Understood. Okay. So a heartbreak from a relationship. Okay, well, let me continue your wonderful bio. Her success led her to become the most exclusive and lucrative escort service in the nation. Wow, what a claim. Her success ended when her operation was exposed. Now Anna Christina is played by One Tree Hill actor Jana Kramer in the Lifetime movie about the former madam's life. These days, Anna is still living on the same Monroe property she owned when she was arrested, along with her husband and their adopted pigs, as she works on her memoir. Well, congratulations to you, Anna Christina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please introduce yourself. Please,
Thank you for that introduction. I'm very grateful to be here, and I look forward to answering any questions that the audience has.
fantastic. Well, right off the bat, Anna Christina, your new book is out, Secret Desires of the 1%. Um, you like it says, you worked in the sex, you sold sex. And one of my questions, what made sex work a viable option for you? Can you tell us how it all got started and what made it viable for you?
I was exposed at a very young age, 12 years old, to the adult industry. I had an aunt who was in the industry, and my family pretty much made that the norm in my life. So when I grew up, I used to work in other jobs, never thought of it really. But when I got married and had a couple of children and the relationship turned south and I found myself a single parent with a couple of children, um, I realized I had to make some money and make some serious money to support these children, to give them the life they deserved. So it stuck in my mind from childhood how much money my aunt made. And so I borrowed a small amount of money, $5,000, and I launched the business. And within about 11 months, I made over 1 million.
Wow.
So I realized I was in the right place at the right time, and it just grew from there.
And why was it the right time? Was it the summer of something, or was it a time where definitely wasn't no pandemic going on, where everybody was locked down? What made it the right time?
The right time was the adult industry had been mainly in print, where you would find the advertisement. A company called Euros Guide had taken the adult industry onto the internet, and I was the first one on the internet with them. And so I dominated the internet through them. And I really built a massive business base through that company, Euros Guide.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Now, today it's a different day and time. And you in your bio, it said that you was arrested and but you did 6 years. I'm sorry, 6 months in the infamous Rikers Island. Um, why did you have to do 6 months? Why?
I was held on an unprecedented $2 million bail because I wouldn't turn and be a confidential informant. So they tried to blackmail me with Rikers Island. If I cooperated and became a confidential informant and would wire up against certain billionaires in my database, then I could go home and continue to run my business.
Oh my
If
God.
I chose not to cooperate, then they were going to send me to Rikers Island. So the judge imposed an unprecedented $2 million bail because they deemed me a flight risk because I was dealing with billionaires who had Lear jets.
Oh my gosh. So they said if we don't, yeah, yeah, flight risk. Holy
I
man.
also filed a vindictive prosecution suit because basically what they did was they were trying to use bail as blackmail.
Oh, wow. This is real, really live, really happened. This is just not some TV stuff. This really happened, Anna, correct?
I was abducted off the street, as you'll see in the movie, and taken to a warehouse, and this happened.
Oh my gosh, you guys got to see the movie on Lifetime. You got to see it. I'm not a well, actually I do like Lifetime movies, but usually they're pretty mushy. But this is not this. You got to see the Soccer Mom, Madam, and the book. Congratulations, Anne, is on sale right now on Amazon. Secret Desires of the 1%. Anna has stories. It's a book compiled of short stories, and the titles are like Pin Man, Rockstar Ron, The Valtrex Man, The Doctor Will See You Now, Melvin the Carpet Man, Tickle and Tease. These are secret desires of the 1%. And when you say 1%, Anna Christina, what does that mean? Share that with the audience. What are secret desires of the 1%, and why would they stand out?
I had a very unique database. As my business grew, I broke it off into two sections: the regular Johns who were millionaires, and a small select group that worked only and strictly with me and me alone, not my booking team, who were billionaires. And I dealt with the billionaires. And so these stories that are put in the book are all the secret fantasies and oddities and desires of that 1% that we all dream of being.
Wow. So of the super duper rich. So okay, a story called Revenge on the Phone Freak. What does that mean? What is that story about, Anna? Give us a sample.
Well, we'd have this gentleman who would call up and just waste our time on a regular basis. And it was very annoying, when you're running a hot phone line, and you get this guy who calls up and he starts breathing heavy down the phone, and you know you know exactly what he's doing. He's getting
Oh
off
my
to your
God.
voice. So what I eventually did was I went out and bought the loudest horn I could get. And so the next time he called, I horned him so hard that I think I broke his eardrums as well as mine.
Oh wait. So you did one of those horns that one of those. Wahida, do you know
Oh,
how to do that?
I got a sea horn, the one you get for boats. I didn't do it in halves. I was done with him. Done, done, done. I was tired of him calling up and masturbating to my voice.
Oh my gosh. So he called in this particular day, and you did the horn you
Yep.
real loud. So did he ever call back?
He tried once or twice, and every time he did, we did the same thing, and then he left us alone.
Okay. All right. Wow. That is amazing. Okay, so Anna, with this book, Secret Desires of the 1%, who is your target audience? Who did you write this book for? When you was writing it, when you was putting this book together, you said these are my people, they're going to enjoy this. Who is that? Who is that audience?
For the 99% of us who wonder what it's like to live the 1% lifestyle,
Wow.
it's a
That's a
broad
huge audience.
spectrum.
That is very broad.
Yeah.
That is very broad. What are the top three reasons someone should pick up your book?
I think the curiosity of knowing what that 1%, how they live, what makes them tick, what makes them different from us, more from a curiosity point of view than anything else, and more of a shock factor. I mean, because it is pretty shocking what
Mhm.
these people want.
Wow. Now, if someone handed you a copy of your book 20 years ago, what would you have said? If this was 20 years ago, this was Anna Gristina 20 years ago, and someone gave you this book, what would be going through your mind? Because I mean,
Whoa.
these are some outlandish stories.
It would be whoa. This
Okay.
just is surreal. I mean, it would be, this is so real. How can it be possible somebody with this much success and money take some of the risks that some of them take? I'd be very curious to know, who was the freakiest, what made them tick.
Okay.
I definitely would read it from cover to cover because the stories just get wilder.
Wow. And that they do. And audience, do yourself a favor. Go to Amazon, click the link up above. Anna Christina, Secret Desires of the 1%. It will be a read that won't disappoint you. So again, congratulations, Anna, for putting this book together. Now, what do you want women in particular to take from when they read this book? What's the giveaway? I mean, the takeaway.
Well, us women, we have empowerment now. It's our bodies, our choices. Nobody should be telling us what we can and can't do with our bodies. And
Hmm.
they should stand up tall and should try to get legislators to legalize this.
Wait, wait,
So
wait.
that
Legalize what? You mean to legalize the sex?
prostitution.
Wow. Wow.
Because if it was
Wow.
legalized, there would be less trafficking, there would be more people willing to come forward and help law enforcement with
Wow.
shady underground people who were trafficking, etc. If it was legalized, people like me, when we hear about the bad guys, could turn them in.
Wow. Look, the audience, drop in the chat if you're down for legalizing prostitution, put a one in there. If you're not, put a two. Let me see. Go to the chat. Let me see what people have to say. That was very bold of Anna Christina to say. All right, one, one, one. Wow. And Chantel says she enjoyed the movie. Can't wait to read the book. Amika said one time, one no. Marie said no. From that standpoint, you agree, Taniqua. Okay, all right. So just about everybody except for one person so far said a two. So wow, that's definitely a
Wahida, I feel that it's a safer option. People can get health tested and screened. They can
mhm.
have managers that can monitor their whereabouts so they don't have them. If somebody's monitored and somebody knows that they're being monitored, there's less chances of injury or harm to the girls.
Okay.
Just like
Okay.
in Holland.
Wow. Well, okay, so what about men? When men pick up your book, what do you want them to take away from it?
If they earn that money and can be the 1%, anything's possible.
Oh,
Anything they want
ooh,
can come true.
ooh. Oh my gosh. It's just that simple. Did you hear that nuance?
Yes, loud and clear, Miss Clark and Anna. I'm like, wow. But she has a valid point. The day and age that we're living in, with free sex and people,
You're
do
fading
whatever
out,
you want with your
nuance.
body. It's your body, your choice. That's the type of environment we live in now. So if you're going to have sex and if you want to get paid for it, I guess that is up to you and your body, right?
So-
Yeah, well, sugar daddies are on all these dating sites. Just I used to play sugar daddies with sugar babies, which was a girl who didn't want to see multiple men. She wanted a relationship with one person that was mutually beneficial. And what the media never covered was a very large part of my business was that. I
wow.
these websites like Seeking Arrangement and SugarDaddy.com, they get free range for girls to go on there and market themselves for nothing more than the exact same thing I did under the disguise of sugar daddy in search of. But it's
Wow.
the exact same girls, same Johns that are in there. I know that for a fact because I used to advertise in there too.
And what was the average lifespan of a relationship like that? A sugar daddy and a sugar baby together. How long would you have this client together?
Usually they'd fizzle out around the second year and then they'd be
Oh
calling
my
to see if
gosh.
anybody
Years.
knew. I mean, they were very
Years.
generous to the girls. They paid them a monthly allowance. They paid me a one-time fee up front for the introduction and for the closing of the deal. And I'd make my one-time fee, and the girl would go off with a guy, and they, had apartments, cars, sometimes school or whatever they wanted to do, pursue, sometimes businesses. And they built their lives or they blew it. They just took the money and spent it and became shopaholics. There was two different types of girls.
Wow.
Smart ones and the not so smart ones.
Wow. And so the message to the men is you get that get that bag up, man, it opens a whole new world. Wow. Let me see if we have any questions in the audience. Hold on. I feel like I'm going to take notes from this book. Uh, okay, no questions. Wow, that's hello. Nope, no questions at all. Okay, let me get back over here. Let me look at my questions. What was the most insightful thing you learned about people from your line of work?
Um, I came across so many different types of people, and the shock factor never ceased to amaze me. Just when I think I've seen and heard it all, something new would pop up. That went with the girls to the clients too. It wasn't just from the clients and their
Okay,
quirks and their secret desires and fetishes, but it also went with the girls too. I mean, um, they were quite a handful, some of them.
okay. So it never was a dull moment, and you was never ceased. Some things just never cease to amaze you. So people so you saw that people well, okay, like you said, you learned from the girls that you was things that would be insightful. Give us one example of what was something that you learned, something insightful that you learned from being in your trade. What makes people tick, or what we do, what we won't do.
Well, I noticed a lot of there was different girls. Some girls were just sugar babies, wanted that one, one girl and that stability, and you know, didn't want somebody who was seeing multiple partners and risking them with
Okay.
to STDs.
And that's what one
Um,
question just came up, Anna. Did you have the girls tested for drugs and STDs?
absolutely, on a regular basis.
Wow. Wow. And then another question we have, what's the difference between sex trafficking and prostitution? What's your definition?
My definition is sex trafficking is taking an unwilling party and putting them into the underground. Young children, young adults, they're just kidnapped off the street and forced into prostitution.
God,
Or they're brought in from Asia in shipping containers, promised jobs in mills and factories and as nannies and models, etc. And then the next thing they're thrown into brothels with no way out.
wow,
Prostitution is a choice. It's a choice with where a woman with woman empowerment says, I'm using my body the way I want to. Just as if you were a gymnast. It's okay to be a gymnast. Why is it not okay to be a prostitute? You're still using your body in the way you want to use it.
wow. Never looked at it like that. Never looked at it like that before. Um, Someone says, can we talk about how people who are not attractive and how your services would help these kind of people with companionship and mental stability. Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, sometimes this 1%, they were geeks, some of them, and they have all the money in the world, but they lack the looks, the height, or something. And there's a little piece of their confidence that they have a very large piece of their confidence that's missing outside of their success in the financial field.
Mm-hmm.
So that's women. So what our girls would be able to do was to be able to kind of rub them the right way, just bring to them attention one on one and help nurture their confidence level. And those were the best clients because they were always so nice to the girls. I mean, just
Okay.
extra generous, extra appreciative, and you know
Did you ever see any of the male clients change over time? Did become a different
yes. Yes, I mean, especially I had one client started off like Mr. Rogers nice, and eventually he became known as Pin Man, where the girls were sticking pins in him. I mean, he
Oh
just
my gosh.
morphed into this deviant. It got darker and darker till I could only send a dominatrix to go see him. I couldn't send a regular girl. It was not in her mental capacity to be comfortable doing what he wanted. And that was my one cardinal rule. You only do what you want to. You only stay with who you want to. And if you want to leave, the door is there.
Wow. What about, have you seen any clients change for the better? Because you said Penn and he end up
Yeah.
he was okay. Like what? Give me
Um,
an
sometimes we had some new clients that start off very demanding and very snippy. And you know a lot of them they're married and they're very unhappy in their relationships, because the wife has stopped putting out tail, and they're frustrated and have all this money, and yet they don't want to have an affair because they feel that's crossing the boundaries.
okay.
So seeing our girls over time soften them, and they weren't so frustrated, and got more relaxed and more comfortable with what they were doing. They didn't. The biggest hang up I think most of our clients had was the thought of paying for sex. So what I used to explain to them was, you're not paying for sex. You're spending your money on having a good time for yourself. What good is your money in the bank if you can't enjoy it? Spend it while you've got it on yourself, because it's going to end up in your kids' trust fund. Basically, would be my answers.
I have a
Wow.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Anna was dealing with high end Johns, so to say. This is not the regular Johns you'll see on, in the raggedy car picking the girl up. These were high, expensive sex workers. So, being though the topic of the room is rich sex, besides the girls getting paid for their services, what other perks were the girls receiving that made them want to continue this particular path? Were they getting helicopter rides? Were they getting apartments? Like, what were the perks these girls were
Oh,
getting?
yeah, absolutely. In the sugar daddy industry, it was a standard that you got an apartment and an allowance each month. The allowances would start at 5,000 to 25,000 a month. Now, if you were a Victoria's Secrets model or a Playboy centerfold, that could double. I mean, I work with a clientele, not just gentlemen, but I work with the top girls in the industry. I mean, I work with faces that you know in Hollywood that were, waiting on that big script coming in. They were in between
Mm-hmm.
scripts, or
Gotcha.
they were no longer in favor in Hollywood. Nobody wanted them anymore. I mean, we're
Wow.
talking Baywatch models, we're talking people that you know.
Wow.
Wow.
Me and Wahida
Me
said
and
wow
Wahida
at
said, wow.
the same time.
Yeah, because I'm blown away. I'm really blown away because I had to ask myself. I said, well, there had to be something more to it. Whereas I watched a documentary on HBO, Hookers and Johns, and the girls, their reason for doing it was for drugs. You know, they were getting high, so they kept on doing it. However, these girls were the girls Anna's dealing with. They were a different caliber. Were they doing it just because they actually loved sex, or was it just because of the perks and the money?
Well, across my travels, I did meet one girl who was a bonafide nymphomaniac, and she could not believe she was getting paid to have fun.
Wow.
And she just loved to work. I mean, she didn't care about the money so much. The money was just, a lavish
A
extravagance
bonus.
that she had on the side.
Wow.
But you know, I mean, because we were doing quality work, not quantity with the girls, they didn't see 10 clients in a week or a month. They would see, maybe two clients a week, and they would make their 5,000 per client. So they made 10 grand for spending a couple of hours with somebody, with two different people. So they had the ability, they didn't lose their sex drive like a lot of the adult industry where they're seeing 5, 10 guys a day. They become numb to sex. So the quality of the girls was the GFE, the girlfriend experience. And that's what made me successful, was the quality, not the quantity. And I
Mm-hmm.
turned down 99% of the clients who did call because they just didn't meet the criteria of what we were looking for.
Wow. Wow. So the book, let me tell everybody again, Secret Desires of the 1%, a short story collection from the soccer mom madam. Secret Desires of the 1%. Get it off of Amazon. Now the book, most of the stories are from the guys. Do you tell any story like you just told us about the nymphomaniac? Is her story in there, or all the stories are for the male's view, from the male's point of view?
She's in the book, but I don't specifically mention that about her.
Okay.
She was one of her. Put it this way: even if she wasn't quite somebody's type, she wasn't tall enough, because of her attitude and her love for what she did. They every man loves a woman who loves what she's doing,
Okay.
because there's more of an effort goes into what they're doing, more of an art. She was more
Wow.
of an artist in the adult field.
So rich.
So she was always booked. I mean, it was hard to book her because there was so many people would requests to see her again.
Oh man, so she was busy. Did she only work a couple of times, or did she work all the time, 5 days
She
a
would
week?
tune herself into New York. What she would do is, she was a student and she was from Maryland, and she would come in, she would stay a week to 10 days, and we would cram in as many of the good clients as we could. If it was a slow week, because sometimes you get the holidays, etc., and the big
Mm-hmm.
clients are always away at their luxury
Mm-hmm.
mansions in Florida or Mexico or wherever, Saint Tropez, wherever. If it was a slow week, we would book her up with some of the B level clients. So
Okay.
because she didn't mind. She loved what she did and she wanted to make money, and she would cover her whole tuition for the semester by just coming in for a week. So we had her in like 4 times a year, and she did very, very well. And she'd come and stay in the summer, and she often traveled internationally on her own dime to see some of our top clients that had homes in Nice, Sardinia, yachts. They did cruises, the very wealthy, in the summer. Saint Tropez was a big hot spot. Monaco was another hot spot, and especially Ibiza. That
Wow.
was another hot spot. As one of the stories tells in there, one of our clients died in Ibiza on the boat. He had a heart attack
While he was tricking off, correct?
while he was shaved, made up, and dressed as a woman.
Oh my gosh. Do y'all hear that,
And the
audience?
plot thickens.
And the plot thickens. And we have someone who had I see your hello, Letitia Cunningham. I see her question in the chat. Now this young lady that's on the stage now, she works in the film industry. She project manager for Tyler Perry, among other things. She raised her hand. Letitia, say hello to everybody. And what question do you have for Miss Anna Gristina?
You have to hit the microphone button at the bottom of your screen to unmute yourself.
All right. Hello, everyone. Um, as someone who worked in the sex industry in New York back in the 1980s and early 90s, um, one of the things that I saw was that the rich men had very particular fetishes. And the nastier the fetishes, the more money you got.
That's
What,
absolutely true.
what?
Especially the richer they are, the more they like. I had a lot of dominatrix calls
Yes,
and
I had a,
degradation, humiliation, was a lot of the requests that I would get from like, especially like, people in immense positions of power. They want to let go and they want to be punished for all the decisions they make in their day-to-day life. It's almost like they're looking to cancel out their business sins. They come into our industry and they like to be stepped on or funneled, or there's just things that I never put in this particular book because I thought it was a little thick and dark. But there is a side to
wow.
the industry that is very heavy into dominatrix with the very powerful men. In fact, I had a judge who used to like to get ball gagged and the shit kicked out of him. A
No
judge
way.
on the federal bench.
Wow. Letitia, is that what you were
Yeah,
that was you that's what you noticed when you was working in back in the
yeah,
day?
I had a guy one time on, he lived in this beautiful 5-story mansion on Fifth Avenue. And um, funny thing is that I didn't know him. I was actually approached by his estate manager, and I was just told to be at the house at a certain time. Got there, the guy showed me into a door. He was like, "Just go in there, just walk straight. The lights are off, but they will come on." So I went in the room. It was pitch dark, could not see anything. Kept walking, and I don't know
Oh
if you've
my
ever
God.
walked on marble floors, but there's this click, click, click with the heels,
Yeah.
and and I actually walked, and I'm gonna say I probably walked about 30 to 40 steps in, and it was pitch dark. All of a sudden, the lights came on. The guy was in a casket, jacking off. When
Oh
I
my
He's in my
when I
book.
screamed, he came.
oh
Guess
my
what?
God.
He's in my book. He lived to be 80. He lived to his. Do you know who
Oh
he was? He was
Yes,
a
I do. I do, because he made me sign an NDA. Yes, I know who he was.
yes, and the louder you screamed, the
oh
more money you got paid.
oh my
He
God.
lived to be a ripe old 86 years old.
OMG, that is amazing. Like,
Yes,
you
Coffin Man, we
you
call him.
watch, oh, you call him Coffin Man?
That was our nickname in the industry. He
Right.
had been around since the 70s. He was a famous film producer of all the original horror movies.
Oh my God. Wahida, you hear
wow.
this?
Yes, I'm listening. I'm listening, and I don't know what it is about people having a lot of money. What makes them develop these fetishes? Were the fetishes there before the money, and the money just brought the fetish out, or is it the money now they have so much money, they just need something to do with it, so they making creative things? Like, what do you think?
Um, I think that when you have done everything and you've had all the beautiful women you could possibly want, you've traveled all over the world, and it becomes your normal. You're looking for something exciting and something new. So, I think a lot had to do with it is looking for something new, something to
Oh
Give
my
them a
God.
little rise, a little
Wow.
push,
Oh
make
my
their blood
God.
pressure rise.
Oh my gosh. That is too
That
far
is
though.
very telling. It's
That's
very telling.
too far.
Actually,
That
believe it or not, that is actually on
the mild
the
side.
mild side of some of the things that some of these guys do. And don't go to the Hamptons in the summer because there are certain things and certain parties you go to that
Yeah.
would just blow your mind with some
Oh,
of
the
the
sex
things.
parties and
Yeah.
yeah, and you have to have a girl to go with you. I was booked all summer long. I summers was usually my competitor's slowest times. With me, I made tons of money in the summer. With the Hampton parties and the nightclubs and every Russian call girl would go out there and rent a house with 10 other Russian hookers. And they would try to find husbands. You could see them laying like, have you ever seen a National Geographic um, episode where you see seals on the beach?
Yes.
Well, that was Russian hookers. It was Russian hookers on the beach instead of seals. You couldn't see the sand for the hookers.
Oh my
So the
God.
Hamptons played a very big role in my business.
And speaking of money, that's what someone asked the question. Amika said, "Did anyone ever play with you and your money? If so, what did you do?"
I was the nicest person that there was in the industry to work for. I was honest. I guaranteed them safety, guaranteed them payment, even if there was a problem with the gentleman in payment. I always guaranteed them stability. And the one thing I did not tolerate was disloyalty. And if somebody put their hand in my cookie jar, I didn't think twice about cutting their hand off.
Gotcha.
So, as nice as I was, there was that other side to me, and I had the right crew that made it possible.
Wow. Okay, somebody else has a question. Hold on. Thank you for your question, Miss Letitia Cunningham. This gentleman here, Rudolph Redding Jr., has a question. What question do you have for Miss Anna Christina, sir? And where are you? Hit your mic button, sir.
Select the mic at the bottom of your screen to unmute yourself. In the chat, he asked a question about
Hold
why
on.
is sex criminalized?
Because let's be honest, if it was men who were getting paid for sex, it wouldn't be criminalized. But to women to actually have their own sense of independence and women empowerment, men are threatened by that. That's my honest
I
opinion.
agree.
Wow.
I agree. If the
Wow.
men was making the money and selling the sex, it'd be a totally different league. It
The
might
whole
even it
Yes.
might even be a sport.
I mean, let's give an example. Look at the why didn't one John get brought out in my case? Why was that? It was only the women that were vilified and made public. Why were the men never ever made public? Because
Wow.
of money,
wow. Because of
power.
money. Because of money.
Yes.
And
And my
and
arrest had nothing to do with prostitution. It was had everything to do with political corruption in the highest office in New York State.
gee whiz. And someone in the chat, that's unique by itself, but I guess you're saving that for the memoir. Um, in this, Mr. Bush said, if you want to have a happy life with a happy wife, it costs, and it's pretty much the same thing as being a sugar daddy. That costs. So what are we really trying to say? Did you understand that?
No, what was the question?
He said, if you want to have a happy life with a happy wife, it costs. And he said it's pretty much the same as being a sugar daddy
Oh,
because
being
right.
married. It costs.
It's
Yes,
exactly the
you're
same.
still paying for sex.
Yep. I believe, men pay for sex. Why can a man, a rich man, wealthy man, take you out to dinner, spend, $1,200, $1,500 on the dinner and the champagne or the wine, take you out to a show, blow another $1,000, get a limo. By the time the night is over, the man spent like $4,000. And then he goes to these nice $1,200 suite and takes you there and can have sex with you and you walk out with nothing. Why can't the girl say, let's skip all of that? This is what my fee
Right.
is, and let's just cut through the chase. If that was always my logic behind it. Men
Wow.
can spend money like mad on a woman, but the minute they hand over cash, it becomes criminalized.
Yep, that's right.
At the end of the day, they're still paying, and sometimes it costs them more money, and they don't score sometimes.
Wow.
So there's a need for this business to be legalized, especially to have more of an open channel to law enforcement with the legitimate people, to help them with the traffickers, etc., to bring them down and crucify them. Because I'm very, very against trafficking. I'm very much against minors being in the industry. I personally never hired anybody who was under 21 because if they
Okay.
couldn't go to the Ritz Carlton and order a bottle of wine, then they were too young for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I was very strict about age, drugs, and loyalty.
Well, if you could change anything, what would you change if you had your way?
I would never have taken a guilty plea. I would have gone to trial.
Okay. What were you looking at if you took it to trial and lost?
Seven
What
years.
7 years? So you saying that you would have rolled the dice? Why you feel that confident that you would have won, or it's just you just felt that was the right thing you should have did was just
Let's
took
just
it to
say
trial?
money donations were made to the district attorney in the tens of thousands of dollars from some of the names on the lists that they had.
Wow.
So corruption run my case.
Wow.
And the judge was bought and paid for by Chuck Schumer. He was nominated for the federal bench in exchange for trying to squeeze me to to basically give up the clients' names publicly.
And you
And he
didn't.
lost his federal bench nomination because I fought him and I won in the appellate court.
Wow. So this just goes up
Yeah,
to high places.
it goes up to the highest of places. Billionaires that are doing billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar infrastructure contracts all over the world, or let's just say government military contracts, for example, in the billions, they're targets because there's always competitors who want to get those contracts.
That's true.
And, for a little kickback here and there, if they can take the competition out of the water, they do. And I got caught for one reason. My number showed up on 10 men's caller IDs that were being illegally monitored by, let's just say, one of New York's top official who is no longer in office.
Oh
He was
snap.
disgraced and retired. We won't say who he is.
Wow.
Yep, he had his eyes on the White House and my client list.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think that's a pretty high note to end on. What you think, Nuance?
Yes, yes. If I had Funk Flex bomb, I'll drop it right now. Yes, that's a mic drop moment right there, Wahida.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Mm,
Anna,
mm,
again,
mm.
congratulations and thank you for coming on live tonight. Please go pick up the book. Could you drop it back in the chat? Wahida? Secret Desires
Yes, in the chat right now.
of the 1%. It says shop our selection of books.
Oh yeah, I don't know why it changed, but that's the
Yeah,
book. But I'll put the
okay,
Amazon
no
one.
problem. Definitely check out Anna's book. And Anna, we're going to have to go live. My Instagram crowd is asking for us to go live. So we're going to have to arrange to go live on Instagram.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you all for listening. And I hope that you will take the time to venture out to the unknown and
Yeah.
take a peek at what the 1% is and what you're missing out there, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
thank you. And congratulations for writing this
Thank
fun,
you.
refreshing story. And I'm sure we will see more of Anna Gristina. The replay is on. We'll be promoting back to the replay. So we are recording it for everyone who did miss it. And again, thank everybody who came and hung out with us tonight. Let me make sure I have no last question. I see a bunch of wows. Um, I mean, Mr. Bush got a point. Many men always say they still have to pay for the sex in the house. They said you drop bombs. Very interesting. You got some congratulations, Sherry and everybody. So
Thank
again,
you, everybody.
thank you.
Well, have a nice night, everybody. And
Thank
I look
you.
forward to promoting the book and sharing my stories with the world and hope it leaves a smile on their face. It's definitely going to give you a laugh and definitely some shock. So I hope you enjoy the book.
Well, thank you. And thank you, everybody. And my co-moderator, Celeste. That's our theme music to say goodbye, Nuance.
Yes.
Wahida Clark, you matter.
Thank you, everybody.